You may have noticed something strange happening in silence. People who once walked among you, who once played the games of this world with enthusiasm, are quietly vanishing. Not dying, not running away, just disappearing. No announcements, no rebellion, no noise. One day they are part of the crowd, the next day they are gone. And if you listen carefully, you can feel that same pull inside yourself, a subtle desire to step back from the chaos, to stop pretending, to stop performing. Do not be alarmed. You are not broken. You are awakening. When a soul begins to evolve, its relationship with society begins to dissolve, because society as you know it is not designed for consciousness. It is designed for sleep. It rewards the performer, not the authentic. It celebrates the loud, not the real. So when consciousness starts to bloom inside a person, that person feels like a stranger in their own world. The laughter of the crowd begins to sound mechanical. The ambitions of others begin to look absurd. The conversations feel hollow. And you start wondering, have I lost interest in life, or have I just started to see it clearly for the first time? I tell you, this disappearance is not a tragedy. It is the most natural, the most sacred process that can happen to a human being. Because when you begin to see, truly see, you cannot continue to act as if you are blind. You cannot keep dancing in the masquerade once you know that every mask hides fear, not joy. The soul that evolves cannot remain comfortable in the marketplace of noise and competition. It craves silence, truth, and authenticity. The world you live in is built upon a grand agreement, an agreement to pretend that possessions mean success, that opinions are truth, that constant motion equals progress. Everyone participates in this performance because the play collapses the moment someone stops acting. But once consciousness touches you, you forget your lines. You stand on the stage and realize there is no audience, only mirrors reflecting your own emptiness. From that moment, staying in the play becomes impossible. That is why people with evolved souls are sneakily disappearing from society. They are not rebelling against it. They are outgrowing it. They are stepping out of a system that thrives on unconscious repetition. They are choosing to breathe where others suffocate. They are not angry. They are awake. They have realized that noise cannot feed the soul, that belonging without authenticity is a kind of spiritual death. I see it happening everywhere. People leaving social media, abandoning careers that once defined them, moving away from cities that vibrate with distraction, not out of bitterness but out of clarity. They are realizing that presence cannot survive in an environment addicted to performance. They no longer want to prove themselves. They want to be themselves. And for that, solitude becomes a necessity, not a luxury. When you start to wake up, you become sensitive to falseness. The gossip that once entertained you now feels toxic. The ambitions that once motivated you now seem childish. The endless opinions, the constant judging, the social rituals, they all begin to taste artificial. And so you quietly step back. You stop explaining. You stop defending. You stop forcing yourself to fit into a mold that no longer exists. This withdrawal is not antisocial. It is the beginning of genuine love, for yourself and for existence. Because to love truth, you must stop participating in lies. To love life, you must stop imitating death. Society lives in a trance of seriousness, chasing shadows, measuring worth through comparison. But the evolved soul has seen the absurdity of it all. It smiles, it bows out, and it walks into the unknown. Yes, this vanishing looks mysterious to those who remain asleep. They call it detachment, arrogance, even madness. But I tell you, it is none of these. It is sanity returning. It is the soul reclaiming its right to be whole. When consciousness grows, it cannot be contained within institutions, ideologies, or identities. It slips through the cracks. It disappears. So if you too are feeling this quiet urge to step back, do not resist it. Do not let guilt or fear hold you. You are not disappearing from life, you are disappearing into it. You are dissolving into the real, shedding the masks that kept you small. The world may not understand, but existence will, and that is enough. When you begin to awaken, something subtle but powerful happens inside you. The noise that once felt normal begins to hurt. You start to feel the vibration of every word, every emotion, every hidden intention in the air. The laughter of the unconscious no longer amuses you. It echoes as pain. The endless rush of people running nowhere begins to feel unbearable. It is as if your entire nervous system is rejecting the collective madness. And so, you quietly begin to withdraw, not out of rejection but out of self-preservation. Understand this. Consciousness is delicate. It grows like a flame in the wind. In an environment of unconsciousness, of greed, fear, judgment, that flame flickers, struggling to stay alive. You can no longer sit for hours in meaningless conversations, because every superficial word drains your energy. You can no longer pretend interest in gossip, because you feel the vibration of falseness in your body. You can no longer engage in endless argument, because you see that every side is just the same ego wearing a different mask. At first, this sensitivity confuses you. You may think something is wrong with you, that you are becoming antisocial or cold. But in truth, you are simply becoming more real. You are learning to honor your own frequency. The evolved soul does not need to shout or prove. It simply refuses to participate in unconsciousness. And this refusal is not rebellion. It is alignment with truth. Society, however, does not understand silence. It interprets withdrawal as weakness, solitude as loneliness, detachment as indifference. But I tell you, there is more love in the silence of an awakened person than in all the noisy compassion of the unconscious. Because when you are silent inside, you stop needing to control or fix others. You see that every being is on their own path, moving through their own dream, and you allow it. That allowing is love. As your awareness grows, you will feel an inner split between what your soul knows and what the world expects of you. Every gathering will ask you to wear a mask. Every conversation will ask you to shrink. Every social structure will demand your loyalty to illusions. And one day, you simply cannot do it anymore. You will wake up in the morning and realize that pretending has become heavier than truth. That moment is sacred. That is when the disappearing begins. You stop explaining your choices. You stop apologizing for your quietness. You stop trying to translate your depth into language that shallow minds can understand. You no longer wish to convince anyone of anything. You begin to value peace over participation, clarity over acceptance. You discover that your aloneness is not empty. It is full. It is pregnant with your own presence. In that stillness, something beautiful unfolds. You begin to hear your real voice, not the borrowed voices of society. You begin to feel your real desires, not the programmed ambitions of the crowd. You begin to sense that your being does not belong to any system, religion, or ideology. It belongs to existence itself, and existence whispers to you, step back, be still, remember who you are. This is the real reason evolved souls are sneakily disappearing from society. They are not escaping responsibility. They are discovering a higher form of responsibility, the responsibility to remain conscious. They have seen that trying to stay awake in a sleeping crowd is like trying to meditate in a marketplace. You can do it for a while, but sooner or later the noise enters your bloodstream. So you move away, not out of arrogance, but out of wisdom. When you protect your silence, you are not abandoning the world. You are preparing to serve it in a higher way. You are cultivating clarity. You are gathering light. Because the world does not need more noise. It needs presence. It does not need more social activity. It needs awareness. So the awakened one disappears into solitude, not to hide, but to become a source of energy that can later flow back into life with purity and strength. When you disappear from the crowd, you do not vanish into emptiness. You dissolve into your own being. What looks like withdrawal from the outside is actually an inward journey, a sacred cocooning. You are no longer running away from the world. You are returning to yourself. Society fears this stillness because it cannot measure it. It calls you lazy, antisocial, unproductive. But I tell you, when a soul enters silence, that is when the real work begins. It is easy to be busy. It is difficult to be conscious. It is easy to fill your life with noise. It is difficult to sit with your own truth. The evolved soul chooses the difficult path, not out of suffering, but out of love for authenticity. In this phase, everything false begins to fall away. Relationships built on dependency dissolve. Careers that fed the ego lose their meaning. Ambitions fade like mist. You start seeing that so much of what you once called life was only a rehearsal, a constant effort to be someone else. And suddenly the effort stops. There is no need to perform anymore. You can finally rest, not the rest of exhaustion, but the rest of being. You will notice that solitude is not loneliness. Loneliness is the ache of being disconnected from yourself. Solitude is the celebration of being reunited with your essence. In solitude, you are no longer hungry for approval, attention, or validation. You begin to taste freedom for the first time, the freedom of not needing to be anyone in particular. During this cocooning, your mind may try to resist. It will whisper, "You are missing out. You are falling behind. You are losing touch with reality." But you will smile because you finally see that what the mind calls reality is only collective hypnosis. You will begin to trust the silence more than the opinions. You will begin to trust the space more than the noise. Slowly, you will feel your energy returning. The exhaustion that came from constant pretending will fade. A new clarity will arise. You will sense a quiet strength growing inside you, the strength that comes from alignment, not effort. And as your consciousness deepens, something miraculous happens. You stop reacting. You no longer need to defend yourself, to explain, to justify. You see that every conflict outside is only a reflection of the conflict within. By ending the inner war, you end your participation in the outer one. In the cocoon, you meet your shadow. All the parts of you that were repressed, denied, or judged begin to surface. This is not comfortable. It is essential. You must face every corner of your unconscious, every wound, every mask. You must make peace with your darkness, for without it, your light will never be whole. The evolved soul does not escape the shadow. It integrates it. Only then can you move beyond duality. This inner transformation cannot happen in noise. The crowd keeps you distracted. The endless talking keeps you shallow. Solitude gives you the space to dive deep. It is like a seed breaking open in the dark soil. It looks like death, but it is life preparing to bloom. In your aloneness, something within you begins to die, the false self, and something begins to be born, the real. You will feel moments of uncertainty, moments of emptiness. The old identity is dissolving, but the new has not yet taken form. Do not rush. This emptiness is sacred. It is the womb of creation. The caterpillar cannot become a butterfly without first dissolving completely. The same happens to the evolving soul. You are melting into your essence so that something luminous may emerge, and when this process ripens, you will notice a profound shift. You no longer need the world to complete you. You are whole. You are enough. The silence becomes your temple, the breath your prayer, the moment your eternity. That is when the real life begins, not the life of doing, but the life of being. When the cocoon has done its work, something gentle begins to move inside you. The silence that once felt vast and empty now feels alive. You begin to sense that solitude was never meant to be an escape. It was preparation. The world you left behind still exists, but now you see it with different eyes. What once looked chaotic now appears as a perfect dance of unconsciousness and awakening, light and shadow, birth and decay. You realize that nothing needs to be fixed. Everything simply needs to be seen. And so, slowly, you return. Not as the same person who left, but as something entirely new. You walk into society again, but you walk lightly, like a breeze passing through the marketplace. You participate, but you no longer belong. You engage, but you are not entangled. You are in the world, yet not of it. This is what I call the art of living on the edge, the art of being a border dweller. You live between two dimensions, the sleeping world and the awakened one. You can speak both languages, but your heart belongs to silence. You interact with people, yet you no longer depend on them for your sense of self. You can work, create, love, and serve, but all of it flows from presence, not from need. The evolved soul who returns to society becomes a kind of mirror. Your presence alone begins to disturb the unconscious patterns around you, not because you are preaching, but because you are real. People may not understand you, but they will feel something different. Your silence will challenge their noise. Your calmness will expose their restlessness. Some will be drawn to you, others will avoid you. That is how truth always works. It attracts those who are ready and repels those who are not. You begin to notice that helping others does not mean convincing them. You no longer feel the urge to change anyone. You simply live in such authenticity that your being itself becomes an invitation. When you are awake, your presence whispers, "It is possible. There is another way to be." And those who are ready will hear it, not with their ears, but with their soul. This stage is delicate. It requires balance. The temptation will arise to return to old habits, to engage in the drama again, to prove your enlightenment. But you must remember, awakening is not a performance. It is not an identity. The moment you claim to be awake, you are already asleep again. So move quietly. Let your life speak, not your ego. The beauty of returning to society with awareness is that nothing outward has to change. You may still live in the same house, work in the same place, speak to the same people, but everything feels different because you are different. The same actions become sacred when done consciously. The same relationships become temples when entered without expectation. You see the divine not in temples or scriptures, but in every face, every breath, every ordinary moment. When the evolved soul walks among the sleeping, it does not judge, it understands. Because it remembers what it was like to be asleep. It sees the struggle, the fear, the longing for meaning, and it smiles with compassion. You no longer see others. You only see reflections of yourself in different stages of awakening. This is the birth of real compassion. You have not returned to save anyone. You have returned to embody consciousness. You become a living reminder that there is freedom beyond fear, peace beyond noise, love beyond need. You begin to live not from effort, but from flow. Life moves through you like a river, spontaneous, effortless, complete. And in this way, the disappearance was never about leaving the world. It was about seeing it rightly for the first time. You disappear from illusion, and you reappear in truth. You disappear from performance, and you reappear in presence. You disappear from identity, and you reappear as pure being. This is what I mean when I say that people with evolved souls are sneakily disappearing from society. They are not escaping life. They are transcending the false version of it. They vanish from the dream so that they can re-enter it as lucid beings, awake inside the sleep of the world. Now, you understand why people with evolved souls are quietly disappearing from society. They are not rejecting humanity. They are rediscovering what it means to be human. They are peeling away everything that was false, everything borrowed, everything that was never truly theirs. And in that stripping away, something magnificent remains. Pure awareness. I tell you, the world does not need more activity. It needs more consciousness. It does not need more opinions. It needs more presence. The real revolution will not happen in the streets. It will happen in silence, in the hearts of those who dare to stop playing the game. Every time one human being wakes up, the whole field of consciousness changes. Even if they disappear from society's eyes, their vibration continues to work invisibly, like perfume spreading through the air. So if you are one of those who feel this calling, do not resist it. Do not let guilt or fear convince you that something is wrong with you. You are simply evolving. You are growing beyond the collective trance, and this growth may require solitude, reflection, and silence. Honor that need. Go inward, not to escape the world, but to find the clarity to love it without being lost in it. There will be moments when you doubt yourself, moments when the loneliness feels heavy. Remember this. Loneliness belongs to the ego, but aloneness belongs to the soul. Loneliness is lack. Aloneness is fullness. When you sit in your aloneness long enough, it turns into communion, with existence, with the stars, with the trees, with everything that breathes. One day you will realize that you never truly disappeared. You simply became invisible to those still dreaming. You are still here, breathing the same air, walking the same earth, but your inner world has changed. You have become a witness instead of a participant. You live, but you do not cling. You love, but you do not possess. You act, but you are not attached to the outcome. This is what freedom feels like. The awakened person walks softly through life. They leave no footprints because they move without ego. Their presence is like the fragrance of a flower, subtle, ungraspable, yet deeply transforming. They do not preach, they radiate. They do not convince, they embody. And this quiet embodiment becomes the seed of a new humanity. Let society continue its noise. You stay rooted in your silence. Let others chase shadows. You remain in the light of awareness. The greatest contribution you can make is to be fully yourself, awake, authentic, present. Out of that being, right action will happen naturally. Compassion will flow effortlessly. You will know when to speak and when to stay silent, when to move and when to be still. And perhaps one day, when the world grows tired of its own madness, it will seek the very silence you have found. When the dreamers begin to stir, they will look for the ones who disappeared, and they will find you, not as a teacher, not as a savior, but as a living example that another way of being is possible. Until then, cherish your invisibility. It is not a curse, it is protection. It is the universe giving you space to mature in consciousness. The butterfly does not apologize for leaving the cocoon. The seed does not feel guilty for breaking the soil. Your disappearing is not an end. It is a beginning. The beginning of a life lived in awareness, not in imitation. So disappear if you must, but do it consciously. Withdraw, but with love. Be alone, but not lonely. Let your silence ripen into wisdom. And when you return, and you will, return as light. The world may still be asleep, but your presence will remind it that awakening is possible. And this is my message to you. Do not be afraid of disappearing. The ones who vanish from the world's illusion are not lost. They are found. They have simply remembered the truth that the crowd has forgotten, that existence itself is enough, that being is the ultimate joy, and that awareness is the only real freedom. If these words resonate with you, sit with them. Let them echo in your heart. And when you are ready, share them, not as doctrine but as presence. For what the world needs now are not followers, but flames, individuals burning with consciousness, silently transforming the darkness into light.